Now, before we get going, I just want to ask if you can hear me. If you are here, you can hear me okay, you can see my slides. Please just type away in the chat box and say hello, or let me know that you can hear me. And what we will do is we'll wait a few more minutes. We'll wait until 5 minutes past the hour before getting started. And that is just to make sure for all of the people that kind of turn up a few minutes late or are struggling to find the link, etc. So if you're watching this webinar on a replay, if you're watching it on YouTube or somewhere else, I would recommend maybe fast forwarding a couple of minutes. And everyone who is here live, thank you for joining us on time. As I said, we will just wait a couple more minutes until other people arrive. So maybe grab yourself a coffee or a tea or something like that, and we will get started in a couple of minutes. Oh, and also happy Thanksgiving to everyone who's tuning in from the US. I feel like the attendee numbers on today's webinar maybe a little lower. We didn't think, or I personally forgot to think about the fact that most people would maybe be away today. But yeah, I can see there's a few of you here, which is great. So as I said, we'll get started in a few moments' time. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Albiona. Hopefully I've said that right. Sorry if I haven't. Mariana, hello. Joel, hi. Ron, hi. Great to see you all here. I'd actually love to ask a question as well before we get started, and whilst we're waiting for a few more people to join on to this webinar. Have any of you been on one of these Promo Republic webinars before? Is this your first time on one of these webinars, or are you a Promo Republic customer? Are you new to Promo? Excuse me. Are you new to Promo Republic? I would love to know. Ron has been here for several. Great. That's awesome. Good to see you again, Ron. How about everybody else that's listening? So this is Mariana's first time. Awesome. So welcome. I hope you're going to find this one useful, Mariana. I'm sure you will. And the good thing for you, Mariana, is that you're joining today, and before this webinar, there's 9 others that you can go back and catch up on at some point too. I'll be on her first time. Awesome. That was great to hear. Jackie says this is first time on Promo Republic webinar, although I've used Promo Republic before. Great. It's good to see some new faces here. So for anybody who is new with some of the previous webinars or just wants to save the link, I will put the link in the chat box right now for the Academy section on the Promo Republic website. So that's where you can catch all of the replays, you can catch the blog posts that we've put together, etc. Yes, Jackie, there have been 9 previous webinars to this one, so I definitely recommend checking those out. Okay, cool. So we are 5 minutes past the hour. So I think we will get started. I can see there's a lot less people than usual on the webinar this week. It looks like there is maybe 11, 12 people so far. And I'm sure that's due to the Thanksgiving holidays. But let's jump into things. If more people join us, then great. If not, then it's good that we have like a small select group with us today. So today we'll be talking about some Facebook ads strategies and some tips. So the agenda will look a little something like this. We're going to cover 3 different kind of core areas. The first one will just be fairly simple, but we'll be talking about should you offer Facebook ads as a service for your agency. Then we'll talk about how to effectively utilize remarketing ads and the power of remarketing. And then we will discuss 5 strategies that you can use or leverage or test a little bit to generate better ROI from any at the moment. So for anyone that's in this webinar series, I will give a very brief introduction before we get straight into things. For people like Ron who have been here before, you may be sick of hearing this, but my name is Dylan. I am also a digital marketing agency owner. So I have been running my own marketing agency since May of this year. And previous to that, I worked at a number of different kind of SaaS and software companies, like big leaders such as Hootsuite, a company called Leadfeeder. I am the host of a top 15 iTunes podcast that's called the Social Media Growth Show. And my work has been picked up by a number of different organizations, like you see here. And basically, I'm working very closely with Promo Republic to help them lead this agency and freelancer academy that they've put together. So, Promo Republic are investing very heavily into supporting people just like you, people on this webinar, people who are trying to build a successful agency business, a successful freelancer business. And we're doing that through providing as much free education as we possibly can and giving you some tips and some tricks and just helping you to run your agencies a little bit smoother. And as I said, my experience fits in very well with that, having run my own agency or still running my own agency and kind of being a little bit impartial as well, right? I'm not here to solely promote Promo Republic to you because, of course, that is one interest of this, but that's not the main interest, and I don't work full time for Promo Republic or anything like that. So that's a quick introduction to me and what I'm all about. Hopefully that is useful for some of you. It's great to see Ron saying that he never gets sick of listening to myself and Ala, who runs some of our other webinars. So that's really good news. But for anyone that's new, that's just a really quick and short introduction to me and what I'm all about. So as I said, the first kind of category that we will cover today is, should you offer Facebook ads as a service? So before we get into this, I want to ask a quick question. How many of you currently offer Facebook ads as a service to your clients, and how many of you don't offer Facebook ads at the moment? How many of you are just doing social media marketing, for example? Okay, so Ron offers Facebook ads. Joelle offers Facebook ads. Jackie does. Let's see. Eleanor does. Okay. Okay, cool. So maybe I won't need to talk too much about like why you should be offering Facebook ads, and that's fine because I hadn't planned like a big section about that because I was kind of hoping that most of you, if you're running social media marketing agencies, I was expecting that you would also be running some form of Facebook ads for people. So that's great. But the number one reason, the main reason I feel like you should be running Facebook ads is because currently, right now, I think this stat was from a few months ago, over 5 million businesses are already advertising on Facebook, and that number is only going to increase. So the Facebook platform itself is kind of becoming this like pay-to-play model right now. You'll have seen for your clients and for your businesses that the organic reach on Facebook has significantly dropped off over the last like couple of years, really. Like if you post something from your business page or from one of your clients' pages and don't put any ad spend behind it, you'll find it harder to get in front of more people. Facebook are limiting that, which makes sense, right? Because they make a lot of money from their ad revenue and they want to continue to increase that revenue that comes through. So the only way to get your content and get your clients' content in front of more people is to utilize Facebook advertising. And there are a ton of reasons why you should offer Facebook ads. Thinking about this from an agency perspective, the first one is just simply the fact that your clients need them. Like so many of your clients will need additional customers or want additional customers. They will need increased awareness about their business. Like as as business continues to evolve and as this digital transformation keeps going, like your clients will need to have a presence on these platforms, and utilizing Facebook ads and other platforms is one of the great ways to do that. It's also one of the easiest ways that you can show ROI from social media activity. So a couple of webinars ago, we talked about how one of the biggest issues for agency owners with their clients is actually sharing with their clients the solid ROI behind social media activity and how they're generating return on investment for them. Because being an agency owner myself, I know what it's like, right? I know where the ROI from social comes from. And let's say if we're talking about like social media management or something like that, the ROI isn't always immediately clear and immediately available, but some of our clients will need to see like cold, hard numbers. And when you're running Facebook ads, it's very easy to simply show the ROI through the results that you're getting. So as an agency, it can also help improve your kind of customer relations and how you communicate with your customers too. And although the price of Facebook ads are like steadily increasing as more and more businesses are utilizing them, it's still very underpriced attention. Like I, I've only grown up in a world where Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads have been a thing. But like years ago, when marketers were using other channels for ads, like when I know people still do this, but when people's number one method of advertising, radio or on buses or big billboards, I know that the cost to get in front of targeted people, like you couldn't be super targeted with your ads, and the cost would be significantly higher. So Facebook ads right now are still very, very underpriced. I'm going to show you some examples further into this webinar today about like some good results that I've seen, some results that other people have seen, and how inexpensive it is to generate results from Facebook ads. So you don't need to worry about that at all. It's also a very easy service that you can outsource and you can scale successfully. It becomes very easy if you have a contractor working for you or an employee working for you. Facebook ads are a very, very easy service offering that you can outsource or delegate to them. And because they show a solid ROI, and because it's very easy to show a solid ROI, it becomes much easier to command a significant fee or a good fee for your Facebook ads services, much easier than social media management, for example. Now I can see we have someone in the chat saying that they are facing a frequent connection issue. Is anybody else having issues with the connection? I just want to check and see if anyone else is having problems. If you're having problems with the audio or with the connection, just let me know, because I will see if I can improve that. But I think it should be fine, because I just checked the internet speed a moment ago and everything was good. Mic is all set up good. Ron says all okay. Great. And Chris has asked if this will be recorded. Yes, Chris, it will. And it will be shared here. I've just put the link in the chat so you can check back. But I would really recommend just staying on the live webinar if you can, because we tend to be pretty interactive on these webinars. Like, I'll answer questions and engage with people. So if you do have questions and you do need support, being live on the webinar is the best way to do that. But as we've already established, a lot of you are offering Facebook ads as a service to your clients. So I don't know, kind of hammer home the point about why they're so beneficial or why they're great as an agency to be running Facebook ads, or why it's a good service to offer. So I want to get straight into the kind of meaty parts of this webinar. To be honest, I think this webinar should be fairly smooth, like fairly fast today. I have a lot of stuff that I'm going to. It's not tons and tons of slides, so I think you'll find this extremely useful. Now, if I was to let's say I could only run one type of Facebook ad campaign. If someone said to me, right, you can run Facebook ads, but you have a limited budget, or there's only one type of campaign that you can run, what would it be? For me, it would be remarketing. And that's because remarketing campaigns often drive the biggest return on investment, and they're very simple to set up. And selling to someone who is already aware of you and already knows you is much easier than selling to someone who has no idea who you are, right? So that's why I would want to really talk about remarketing campaigns. On average, a buyer has between 6 and 10, some people say 6 and 12. There's a few different numbers out there, but it's a significant number. On average, a buyer has to have between 6 and 10 touch points before they're ready to make a purchasing decision from a business. So they have to see you in multiple different places at different times before, in their brain, they are ready to commit a decision about purchasing your product, coming in to your restaurant, anything like that. So my first question is, how many of you watching today that are running Facebook ads for your clients, how many of you are currently really, really focusing on utilizing retargeting campaigns to make sure that your clients are staying top of mind with their customers? How many of you can honestly say that you're spending a significant amount of time working on your retargeting campaigns? And I'm not saying like just retargeting every single person that visits the website. Like we're going to get more in depth with how you can do that. Okay, cool. So thank you for being honest. So Ron says no, Jackie says no. I'm sure there'll be a few other people that will say no as well. And the reason I say that, retargeting is so important is because it really is like you'll see the best return on your dollars that you spend. Just because if someone is already aware of the business, has already visited the site, like it just makes sense to reposition things to them. And I'm going to show you what just basic, but the very, very, like this is breaking it down very, very simply. This is what a remarketing campaign is like. So let's say the visitor browses your product page or something like that on your website, and then maybe they decide to add the product that they've looked at to their shopping cart, but they haven't purchased, so they leave the website. Through remarketing, you're able to serve an ad that exact person. And they can watch that remarketing ad or that banner ad or however you position it to them. The idea is that and purchase the product. This is the very simple kind of mechanism about how we target. I can do to improve brand awareness into this webinar. So Monica says the sound keeps fading in and out. So I'm going to try and I'll just check the mic. Everything seems to be working fine here. So hopefully, okay, Chris says the audio has been cutting out too. Strange. I'm not too sure why that is. So hopefully we don't have too many more problems, everyone. Apologies if we do. Apologies if it is cutting in and out. I've checked everything. Like my internet speed here is good. I've got a really good podcasting mic set up that I use for my podcast, so there shouldn't be any problems. But sorry to hear. Hopefully it will continue to work. But did you hear and understand this like simple structure of what a remarketing campaign is all about? Just let me know you can hear me there. Okay, so Zoe is having sound issues too. Okay, let's continue, and hopefully this will fix itself. So your next question will be: okay, we've seen and understand at a basic, simple level what a retargeting or what a remarketing campaign is, but how can you go away and implement those for your clients and for your businesses? And that's what we're going to touch on now. We'll go through some basics, and then I'll show you some examples about how other people are leveraging remarketing campaigns to generate success and generate ROI for their customers. So the way that you can start to build remarketing campaigns is by leveraging and creating custom audiences within your Facebook Ads Manager or Facebook Business Manager. How many of you know how to like create custom audiences within Facebook Manager and retargeting audiences? I just want to check because I don't want to go like super in depth and get really technical if some of you don't actually know how to do this, and at the same time I don't extremely simple. So good. Most people know how to create audiences and custom audiences, which is great. Just to give you some ideas, like some of the things you can retarget are specific URLs on the website. So specific pages, you can retarget specific pages on the site, how long people have spent on the site. You can retarget based on maybe people that have visited or engaged with either your company Facebook page or your company Instagram page. You can create custom audiences of your mailing list. So you could import your mailing list into Facebook. You could import your customer list. The kind of options with creating audiences within Facebook go on and on. I would love to spend tons of time on how you can create the perfect audience, etc. But I don't think that's going to be the most beneficial for you right now. I just want to make sure that you guys know how you can create some of these simple remarketing audiences. Ones that I really recommend, if you've never built a remarketing audience in your life, I would recommend that you go into the audience creation and you create a custom audience. You create an audience for everyone who has visited or engaged on your Facebook page for the last 30 days. And then it's create some ones for people who have abandoned carts if you sell like items online. Create ones for people who have viewed maybe like a sales page on your website but haven't booked onto a call or something like that. It all depends on how your website or how your clients' websites are set up. Maybe people, if you run marketing for local businesses, for like restaurants or something like that, maybe retarget people who have viewed the menu page on the site or viewed the reservations page on the site, etc. It's very easy to just come into Facebook custom audiences here and create those custom audiences. But if you need help and support with this, one I really recommend is a company called Adespresso. I'll actually just grab the link for you guys now. So Adespresso are a like Facebook ads tool. And when I worked, we actually acquired Adespresso. They're a great tool, but Adespresso share a ton of different guides, how-tos, I think they have like an academy as well. So I'm just gonna get the link. I will share that in the chat now, adespresso.com, just so you can go and check that out. It's a great place to go for education on Facebook ads. So if you need to learn how to do this more in depth, I'd really recommend going there. But now we're going to get into some practical remarketing examples. So, excuse me. This is the first one that I want to talk about. Do any of you, or have any of you heard of sumo.com, this company here? So this is just, I just wondered. Okay, Monica has, cool. Okay, good. A few of you have. I wanted to use this as an example because Sumo knew that organic competition was tough in their market and that there was a ton of high quality content available out there online. So what they did was they sought to get their content seen by a specific audience by focusing their efforts on content distribution and then utilizing retargeting off the back of that. So what Sumo did, rather than just immediately trying to sell to a cold audience by hitting them with an ad about like signing up for a trial or checking out their product, Sumo create a lot of great content on their website. And this on the left is a piece of content they created, how Tony Robbins generates 1 million website visitors per month. They knew that this would resonate well with their target audience. And they decided to use this piece of content they created and then put some spend behind it on Facebook, targeting the specific people, types of people that they know usually buy their product and would find this article insightful. And there was no solid call to action or anything like that. All they wanted to do was get more people to view this blog post and more qualified people to view this blog post. And the reason they did that, some of you might think, but what's the point of that? Like, that's not going to generate them any sales. Normally with Facebook ads, a lot of people go straight for the sale. Well, the reason they did that is because once those people were on their blog and they viewed that page, they were then able to retarget people who viewed that page with a follow-up ad, right? So rather than just going straight for the sale, they educated them first, they shared something useful with them, and then they contextually followed up with a really smart remarketing ad. And the thing you see on the right-hand side is the remarketing ad that they used. It's actually very clever. It's a very smart ad, very good copy, very entertaining, and that also acts as a slight kind of pattern interrupt. So basically, they utilized their retargeting to get people, to attract people with the great piece of content, and then retarget them, and then push them to a call to action, which was to sign up. And they used a fairly like aggressive, I guess you would call it, aggressive like call to action in this follow-up ad because they knew that they'd already built some awareness with the people that they were advertising to. So it wasn't a completely cold audience. It was someone that will already have heard of Sumo. So this is one example. And you can see from the screenshots that like one person actually commented on the ad to say how great it was. So I think this was a really good remarketing example to share with you, a way that you can leverage good content, target that to the right people, and then follow up with those people with a call to action. What does everyone think of that? I just want to make sure that you can all still hear me okay and that this is useful for you. Great. Okay, cool. So people are finding that helpful. And this can work with so many different kinds of businesses too. Now the next slide that I am going to share with you. So this is just a screenshot of video. I wanted to like share the video with you, but it was like a half an hour video and I didn't think that would be the most practical use of our time together. So I'm going to share the link to the video right now in the chat, and I would really recommend that all of you check this video out when you have a spare 30 minutes over the next couple of days. So the guy that you see on the screen here is a guy called Jeremy Haynes. He is someone that I would like credit as a mentor to myself. He runs a really successful digital marketing agency. He has worked with a number of really impressive personal brands and large businesses. If any of you are into like sales or just general entrepreneurship, I'm sure some of you have heard of Grant Cardone. Jeremy was his like digital marketer for a number of time, like a number of months, years, and now runs his own agency. And anyway, he's like an absolute master at Facebook ads. And this was a talk he gave at an event of his, a mastermind event of his in LA a few months back, which I was lucky enough to attend. And in his programs, he always shares this method for Facebook advertising called the Venus Flytrap method. And basically, the reason I recommend you checking out this video is because I'll do my best to condense this method into a couple of minutes, but watching this video, you can like play it, pause it, check back on it, and it will just make complete sense to you. But his method is called the Venus Flytrap method, and it's kind of similar to what you saw with the sumo ad in the last slide, but just a different structure. So Jeremy focuses on, rather than going straight for the sale like most people do, most people when they run Facebook ads just pitch straight for a sale, right? Rather than doing that, he focuses on warming up the audience before selling to them so that you can be more targeted. If you warm up an audience, you can like retarget the people that have shown the most interest, and it's just going to be better for your return on ad spend, right? The way that he does that is through building out video funnels in Facebook itself. So he will have a structure of, let's say, 3 or 4 videos that he'll put into Facebook and put ad spend behind. And the whole idea, rather than pushing someone to the website or anything like that, the kind of goal of the campaigns on Facebook when you set them up is to generate video views. Because on Facebook, if someone views a video, you can retarget them. You can retarget people that have watched like 5%, 10%, 20%, 70%. So Jeremy's idea is that you put out one video first to like a wide array of people or your target audience. And then you have 2 or 3 videos set up in the funnel where they're consistently providing value. The first video is just to attract people and get them to watch some of the video. Then you retarget everyone who watches 50% of that video, 75% of that video with the next video in the funnel, which should hopefully be more engaging content, more useful content. Then you retarget everyone who watches 50% of all engaging content. And then you retarget everyone who watches 50 or 75% of that with the video that has a call to action in it. And the reason you do that is because you're warming up these people, you're pushing them through a sales funnel natively on Facebook. You're not sending them anywhere else. And Facebook likes that because it likes to keep you on their platform. People become really engaged with you because they've watched and invested time in video, and video content is way more attractive than just an image. And this is in the kind of simplest way possible of explaining it is a Venus Flytrap method. But as I said, really to explain this properly and show examples, I would need like 25 minutes, but you can go ahead and watch this video after the webinar because it really is a really smart method. It's very easy to get in front of a lot of people for very low cost with video view advertising on Facebook too. And the return on ad spend works really well. I actually have tested this for a couple of clients of mine. One that comes to mind was a SaaS conference that I was running some Facebook ads for last year. And we used the Venus Flytrap method to like show them the initial video was just like a teaser video about the event. Then the second video was someone like a highlight reel from previous events. Then the third video was James, the event organizer, sharing like a call to action with these people to book a ticket. And we generated, I think it was an 8 times or an 8x return on ad spend. So for every $1 we put in, we generated $8, which is like we were really happy with that, and we managed to sell a ton of tickets for the event that way. So the Venus Flytrap method is something, it may sound fairly complicated the way I'm explaining it to you, but once you get to grips with it, it's actually very simple and it works very well. So how many of you are still on board with that, still following, and think that would be useful? I know, as I said, I definitely recommend watching the video, but I'm certain this will be really impressive for you. And like, only works with video content. Remember that. If you're running like ads for restaurants, local businesses, this will be perfect for you because you can have some great video content that you can utilize as well. So this works really, really well. And then I just want to show this screenshot. So I had to blur some of this out, but this was another reason why remarketing campaigns. So as I said earlier on, it can be extremely profitable, like you see in this example here. So this is an example from a contractor that I work with who spent $3,000 on an ad campaign, and in return generated $25,000 or $26,000. And these were all just remarketing campaigns. And this is a really impressive kind of turnaround. And these are just all remarketing campaigns. You can see he didn't have to spend a ton of money, spent $3,000, generated $25,000 in return. These are all from remarketing campaigns. So just to kind of go back on what we said earlier, some really simple yet effective audiences you can leverage for your retargeting campaigns. Website traffic, so people who have viewed specific pages, you can target them with a really relevant ad based on the page that they visited on your website. Abandoned carts. This is really important for any e-commerce businesses or people selling things online, because on average, I read a stat earlier today when I was putting this together, that on average online retailers miss out on 69% of their sales due to users filling their basket but then abandoning the basket. The good thing is that you are able to use Facebook ads to retarget these potential customers and then drive them back to your site to complete. If you just didn't try, you would generate no results. Whereas if you start to leverage remarketing, you can get some quick wins and increase the revenue that you're generating for your business or for your clients' businesses. Another good audience is people who have engaged with your pages. So you can retarget people who have simply just visited your Facebook page. Or for me, I do with Instagram, building and growing a good size audience on Instagram. I get a lot of people viewing my Instagram every day, every week. And all they have to do is view my Instagram and they're straight into my funnel. I can remarket to them. So I'd really recommend checking that out. And then previous buyers as well. Often people forget about this. You should definitely try remarketing to people who have already bought from you. And the reason I say that is because once someone has purchased something from your brand or from your client's brand, there's a 27% chance of them returning to your store or to your company and purchasing from you again. It's so much easier to sell to someone who's already given you their bank details or already bought something. So these are just some simple audience if you wanted to get started with building out some remarketing campaigns. Now, the final section of this webinar, we will be talking about 5 strategies or 5 tips, things that you can use to generate a better return on investment from your Facebook ads. These aren't game-changing ideas. Some of these are very share with you because, especially from the questions that I asked a lot of you towards the start of this webinar, most of you aren't even doing marketing. So it's important to focus on that and then focus on some of these things that I'm going to share with you now. But before we get into that, it would actually be really cool to see who that's watching this and who that's with us right now has had some really good results from Facebook ads. What's one tip that you have or one thing that you've tested or implemented that has worked out really, really well for some of your clients? It'd be really good to hear from you. We'll see if anyone has anything to share with us, and then if not, we'll get into these tips. But I can see a few people are typing away. I'm sure this is the time when you can big yourself up a little bit. And remember, this agency and freelancer academy that I'm building with the team at Promo Republic, is really focused on building a community of other agency owners and freelancers where you can network with each other, where you can learn from each other, share things with each other. So I really do want to encourage some conversation between all of you, and I think this would be a good way to do that too. But it looks like a few of you have gone shy, which is fine. So we will continue and get into the 5 strategies that you can leverage to generate a better return on investment from your Facebook ads. Actually, Ron has said that he likes to use surveys for previous viewers or customers. It generates reviews and testimonials too. Cool. One thing I've not put in these 5 strategies that is definitely a good one actually is using testimonials in your Facebook ads. If you can get customers of yours to record a testimonial, using their iPhone or their phone in selfie mode, like selfie cam, not super produced or anything like that, just simple testimonials, and then you can put 3 or 4 testimonials into a carousel ad. Those actually perform really well too for conversion. So that's one tip. I maybe should have put that in the 5 strategies, but that's one that you can leverage. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Ron. Okay, cool. So number 1, video. I talked about this earlier, but video is Facebook and all of the social platforms are really pushing people towards video now. They want more people sharing video content. They're pushing people to engage with video content. So it only makes sense that we leverage that in our advertising efforts. So whether it's live video, uploaded content, video on Facebook is becoming more popular. It's a great way to get people to stop and take notice of you and your brand, and the proof is in the numbers. So Facebook actually generates more than 8 billion video views every single day. 8 billion every single day. That's a crazy number. And that number is continuing to climb and to grow. So you should be using video in your ads to explain the story behind your product or behind your brand, and use this as a chance to be creative so that your ad stands out and is memorable. Facebook has its own built-in tool called Creative Apps that you can use to turn your pictures and videos into a unique story. But I wanted to share a couple of other tools on here for you that I thought you'd find useful. So Lumen 5 is a tool that basically you plug in the RSS feed to your company's blogs, and it will turn each blog post into videos using its AI engine. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's pretty cool. It puts together like slideshow videos, and you can edit and change the text that you see on them. A tool that I really like if you're doing some good, like if you're doing a lot of ads work for other clients, is Shaker. So it's an online video ad creator that has loads and loads of templates. It's kind of like Shaker is like a middle ground if you don't want to hire an editor. Like Shaker has a load of templates that were created by good quality editors. Of course, it's not as good as having your own video editor, but it is actually like one of the best video template like tools out there. It's really, really good. And then there's a tool called Legend, which is like an iPhone or an Android app, which like lets you turn a number of pictures or videos into like shorter videos for social, and you can put fonts and animations on them. And the great thing about videos, and why I'm focusing on video ads on Facebook as well, is because, as I said earlier, you can retarget people who have viewed your videos in the past based on how much of the video they've viewed. So video is super important. Natasha says, is there an optimal length or duration for Facebook videos? That's a really good question. So I don't have like a solid stat to share with you or an exact number. It really depends on the goal. Like some people say they want to keep their videos to less than a minute, to like 30, 40 seconds. Otherwise people lose interest, which is true. But if you're like trying to be extremely educational, like for me, I leverage just the keynote talks that I do, and I use those as ads sometimes, and they can be like 15, 20, 30 minutes long. So it really just depends on the context. For general like businesses and brands, try and keep it under a minute just so that you don't lose people's interest, because people will start to switch off at some point. So strategy number 2, I know I said all of this was about Facebook ads, but I wanted to talk about Instagram story ads, and I feel like I can kind of get away with that because Facebook own Instagram. So I hope everyone is okay with me doing this. But I was actually in Kiev in Ukraine last week giving a keynote at Social Media Week, and one of the things I talked about where there really is underpriced attention right now is Instagram story ads. Instagram story ads are still a lot cheaper than Facebook ads in terms of the cost for results that I'm seeing. And they're working really well for my personal brand, for business, for clients, for other people that I know. And my tips I would give you, like if you've never run an Instagram story ad, please just go away and experiment. They can only be 15 seconds long, so they have to be short and snappy. And I found, like, I've done some recorded with my really expensive, like, €4,000 camera and then put together by a pro, like, editor. I found that those ones actually don't perform as well as the ones where it's just me on my phone, like recording it on my phone and then uploading it. So, like, off the cuff stuff works better than professional stuff on Instagram story ads right now. And there is no excuse as to why you can't create some Instagram story ads. Like, it literally takes you 15 seconds to record it and then a couple minutes to put everything into Facebook and launch the ad, and you can get some great results. So one screenshot I've put on here shows you that one of my Instagram story ads, I was able to get in front of 498,000 different people and generate 4,500 swipe ups or link clicks through to what I was offering them for 6 pence per link click. So I only spent £272 and got myself in front of nearly 500,000 people and had nearly 5,000 people come through to my offer, my website. And that was also really good because then I can retarget all of those people too, because I have Facebook pixel on my website. So Instagram story ads are super cheap, and I would definitely recommend testing them. I would only use video on Instagram story ads, and I wouldn't put something together super like professional and well thought out, because it clearly is an ad. Like, you see Instagram story ads when you're watching your friends' stories. So keep it as personal as you possibly can. Has anyone here run Instagram story ads yet? Anyone watching this? I want to find out from you. If anyone, I'm sure some of you must have done. No? Okay. Okay, so most people are saying no. So my number one recommendation, no matter what business you run, experiment with some Instagram story ads. And like, let me know what results you get, because I guarantee you'll be pleased. And I'm happy to help as well. Like, if any of you want to send me your ad creative and let me know and like get my feedback on it or something like that, I'm happy to help, because I really do think you should be testing these. Okay, number 3. I've never run any of these myself personally, but I know a lot of people on these webinars often work for local businesses like restaurants, I don't know, like dentists, all that kind of great stuff. And geo-targeted ads can be great for them. So geo-targeting is a great advertising strategy for getting your message in front of customers. And it works by serving relevant ads based on where people are located at a specific time. So the result, timely, super targeted ads that get customers engaged. I was trying to think of some examples here, and I was going to say, like, let's say you have maybe a fitness app and you want to target people who spend time at gyms. Now, what you can do is you can create your audience for your ads, say based on their interests and all that kind of great stuff, and then you can enter an address of a specific location. So, for example, if there's one street where you live that has a ton of gyms on the street, or you just want to focus on one gym, you can literally pinpoint that on a map and then target the people that are there, like they're on Facebook, they're at that location, and they match the interests that you have or that you've set. So if you have a physical store, you could enter your address, like your store's address, into the location field, so that whenever someone in your target audience is nearby, they can see your ads, and you can choose like how wide of a radius you want to target and how many people you want to reach. So this is a really great way to serve up hyper-targeted ads to people nearby. This is great for local businesses. You can use this like if maybe you have a restaurant and you want to offer a special discount to people who are in the location or something like that. You can get really, really creative with geo-targeted ads. I actually know people in the past. This is a slightly different use case, but people like me who are building out their own personal brands, I know someone in the past who was attending a big social media event where a lot of their target customers were. They pinpointed the location of the event on a map, and they ran an ad to everyone that was at that event at that time, introducing themselves and saying like, hey, if you see me at the event, come and say hi, this is who I am and this is what I do. That was a friend of mine called Gavin. He runs a Facebook ads agency, and he tested that, and I think he had some pretty cool results for that too. So yeah, geo-targeted ads can be really powerful, especially for local businesses. Has anyone here run geo-targeted ads before? Cool. Jackie has. Okay, cool. What kind of results have you had from those, Jackie? Natasha has as well, which is great. So typically I don't run these very often because the businesses that I work with aren't local businesses, right? Or they don't have a fixed like location. I work with a lot of software companies. So I've never really run one of these, but I can see how useful they would be for the right kind of business. All of this is relative, right? It all depends on the business that you run or the businesses that you work with. Okay, so let's get into the fourth tip. You're probably going to expect this one, but it is set up retargeting campaigns immediately. All of you said, like literally one person said they were running retargeting campaigns. There were at least 5 of you that said you weren't. So the very first thing I would do is set up some retargeting campaigns for clients yourself, like retarget people that have been on your agency website. This is an easy way to generate quick wins. You can recover abandoned carts. You can increase brand awareness. And I actually found a great stat to share with you just to encourage you even more. That retargeting ads lead to a 1,046% increase in branded search. So whoever it was that said their client's website isn't there to generate sales, how can they use retargeting ads? Well, once you leverage retargeting ads, people are like, it leads to an increase of over 1,000% of people then searching your brand or your company in Google, which proves that it works very, very, very well for brand awareness too. So people who have seen these retargeting ads definitely have a heightened awareness of your business, and as a result, they come back to search for you on Google or Bing or wherever they use search the next time that they want or need your product or service. So that's also another way that remarketing can be great if you don't have sales-driven pages on your website. Now let's go on to the fifth and final one. This one is one that I test a lot, and I took this example from the Adespresso website. Experiment with emojis. Now sometimes I hate emojis in ads, but the cold hard numbers here prove that they actually work really well. So Adespresso did a number of tests, and they found that ads with the right kind of emojis had 30 to 40% higher click-through rates and a 20% lower cost per click, which just blew my mind when I read that. And you see here on the screen, 2 ads are exactly the same. It's just one has emojis, one doesn't. So in the ad above on the right-hand side, the one with the emojis, you can see that the text stands out more because of the emojis. So the reader's attention is immediately drawn to the top of the ad and then to the bottom of the ad. So even though like the ad on the left-hand side actually cost less than the ad on the right to get it out to as many people, the click-through rate on the ad on the right was 12% more. So that's just proof that it worked really well, some really good results. But the thing is here, you can't just throw in any old emojis. Like random usage could definitely hurt your brand more than help it. Consumers will want to see emojis that are like genuinely feeling authentic and not forced. They're in line with emojis that your customers use, and they don't massively distract from what they're trying to read. So I would say to get the right emojis, the only way you can do this is like test. I know it sounds crazy to like literally just test with putting in some different emojis, but you can see I just said like these two ads are exactly the same. One has emojis, one doesn't. The one with emojis had a 12% better click-through rate. So something as small as that really can make a significant difference. And the only way to work it out is by A/B testing. So just A/B test a few different variations of ads, some with emojis, some without, some with different emojis to others, and see what happens. You want to grab people's attention, but make sure that you still remember that you still want to be taken seriously. So don't just all of a sudden start overloading every single one of your ads that you put together with tons and tons and tons of emojis, because that won't work for us. So that's the 5 tips. One thing I want to say though is that nailing your Facebook ad campaigns does take a lot of work and a lot of testing, but luckily for you, Promo Republic can actually help with some of this, and I'm just going to share with you briefly one of the ways. As I said, this is their putting a lot of focus on education for agency and freelancer owners, and the reason behind that is that Promo Republic recently launched a very, very good agency plan or agency package for their users. But one thing I want to say to you is that luckily for you, they can also help you with your ads. So Promo Republic have an additional offering. If you're an agency customer of Promo Republic's, there's an additional offering. It's an additional cost, but it's very very well priced, and that is of intelligent ads. So Promo Republic have a great team of excellent people that can actually put together and manage ad campaigns for you and for your clients. So you can kind of outsource this process to the team at Promo Republic and use this to help you spend your time more wisely, to generate better results for your clients. And there have been some really good results from this too. So you can deliver your ads to people who are more likely to take the right actions and start making your ads ROI positive. So this is one of the great things that I wanted to touch on. And I thought, hey, look, we're talking about Facebook ads, so it makes sense that I share this with you, because I will talk a little bit in a second about the agency platform for Promo Republic. But before going into that, I thought it made sense to share this with you, because I'm sure a lot of you didn't actually know about this additional service offering. Now, Promo Republic, the agency software, I don't want to talk forever about this, but I wanted to share with you that, as I said, there is this agency offering for Promo Republic, which is different from the standard Promo Republic that some of you may be using right now. And it's focused around a number of core areas that are really, really, really useful. One of those is client collaboration and workflows. So I read a statistic, and I shared this in the past, that 89% of agencies say their biggest difficulty or their biggest pain point is communicating clearly with their customers. And for that reason, Promo Republic have brought in a tool with an incredible collaboration workflow. So you can actually white label this whole platform too. So you could have the Promo Republic platform completely white labeled with your agency logo, your agency website, all of your colors. And you could use this to onboard and collaborate with your clients. And you can schedule your social posts, that you can actually schedule them for approval. So your client has to again approve them, reject them, add comments to them, edit them, etc. This is one of the great things within the Promo Republic agency solution specifically, along with a number of other great tools. If you haven't used Promo Republic before, the Post Ideas library is incredible. How many of you have used the Post Ideas library or know what this library is within Republic? Because for myself and my agency, my social media manager was spending, before I discovered Promo Republic a few months ago, my social media manager was spending a load of time on Canva creating graphics and creating social media posts. He would then download those posts, and he would then upload them from his computer into Hootsuite, which we would use to sort out all of our posts. Now, Promo Republic has a Post Ideas library with over 100,000 different posts, which are amazing. It has all the ideas and templates there ready for us to use, and then we can schedule them or send them for our clients' approval without having to even download them to our PC. So that's one thing that I really love about this. And just with one client, this saved my social media manager like 6 hours a week, which for me was incredible. So there's a number of great features, specific features within the agency solution for Promo Republic that aren't available on the standard platform. This is kind of a comparison table, so you can see we have some great publishing features. We have this incredible approval workflow that I talked about. The white label solution is like, as you can see here, not really anyone else offers that. Republic is really, really cool, and your clients will see you in a much better light. They have the post ideas library, which is great. Reporting is soon, it's improving. There's also a monitoring add-on, and this partner program and education that we're putting together. There's, as you can see here, like a ton of amazing things about the Promopublic agency solution. And the best thing is that it's very competitive pricing. You can see that it's actually one of the cheapest on the market. So the agency package starts from $99 a month. And I can see that Rawson says, what's the cost of the agency white label? So Rawson, are you an agency customer or are you using like standard promo? Because if you are an agency customer, the white label is included in the price, standard at present. Yeah, so the white label is included in the price. Now, I'm not here to like sell you guys Promo Republic. I just wanted to share with you my experience from switching over. Like, I'm an agency owner myself. I used to work for Hootsuite, right? Like, I need to make that clear. I used to work for Hootsuite. I'm a huge evangelist for Hootsuite. Like, I love the team. I had a great time there. I thought it was the best tool in the world. But for my agency right now, honestly, it's been Promo Republic because it's been better for our workflow. So to you, I just wanted to share some relevant kind of experience with you because I thought the intelligent ads thing would be useful. And I just want to make some of you aware of exactly what the agency solution can do. But if you want to see it in more depth, what I can actually do for you is anyone that's like viewing these webinars or viewing this webinar, we can give you access to a special price for the agency solution. So what you see on the screen, it starts from $99 a month. We can do a special discount, a special price for people on these webinars. And the way that that works is if you want to, even like if you're not 100% certain on buying the agency solution just yet, because I know I haven't even shown it to you, but if you want to learn more about the agency solution, learn more about how you can get that discount, I can share a link with you where you can set up a call with Valentin, who is who's an incredible guy. No, there's no. I'm not positioning a Black Friday deal to you. Don't worry. I've had too many of those come through into my inbox over the last 12 hours. I'm just offering to get you set up on a call with Valentin, who will show you the platform, will show you how it works, and put out a special offer, special discount to you as well. So if anyone's interested in learning more about Promo Republic at an agency level and how it can improve your business, how it can save you time, how it can ultimately generate you more revenue, use that Calendly link, book onto a quick 15-minute call with Valentin, and he will show you that, and he will offer you the discount too. So Chris has asked if the intelligent ads is included in the cost. So it's not included in the cost, it's an additional cost, but it's a very low level cost. So there's an additional cost available to agency customers. Awesome. Okay, so now let's get to questions. Who has questions for me? I know we've kind of been going through some questions anyway, but who has other questions for me? Okay, very quiet. So does that mean we don't have a single question from anyone? I have plenty of time. I'm happy to hang around and help you guys out, whether it's Promo Republic related questions, whether it is general agency related questions, Facebook ads, Black Friday stuff, whatever it is you want to talk about, I am here to talk about it with you. Chris, so the price varies depending on a number of different things. I believe it starts from either $49 or $99. It's very well priced, but it fluctuates depending on a number of different things. So what I would recommend, if you are interested in learning a bit more, use that Calendly link to set up a call with Valentin, and he will he'll explain everything. Because as I said, I don't like work full time for Promo Republic, so I don't have 100% great knowledge on every single pricing element, but he'll be able to help you out with that for sure. I do know that it is very very well priced. Okay, so Ron says, I recently ran across texting video ads. Has anyone tried these? What do you mean by that, Ron? Texting video ads? As in like a video ad where it looks like it's someone sending a text message on their phone? Yeah, I've actually seen some of those as well, and I thought they were really cool. Rawson says, have you got any other great resources that you use when creating, monitoring your ads? Okay, that's a good question. Like for basic stuff, I recommend checking out Ad Espresso are great for sharing like case studies and stuff like that and ad examples. What I start to do personally is like I focus on SaaS and software companies for my agency. And I would just like every time I see a good ad, I screenshot it and I put it into a Google Drive folder. And that's like what I leverage. And there are a number of other ways you can find ads as well. Eleanor says, your favorite method of getting clients for your agency. Eleanor. Eleanor, I reckon, is this Eleanor from Tartu? Estonian Eleanor, right? Awesome. That's so cool. It's good to see you here. Yeah, so for me, honestly, like all of the clients, pretty much all of the clients for my agency have come to me as a result of my personal brand. But like the other things that I leverage are LinkedIn, like LinkedIn outbound automation, and that's it right now. But to be completely real and honest with you, all of them, like all of my current clients have come from my personal brand. Actually, that's a lie. One of my consulting clients came because they were a competitor of someone else I worked with, and I built out a list of all of their competitors, and then I sent video emails, like cold video emails, with I did a video audit, like a 10-minute, really in-depth, super personal audit of their activity, and sent it to their CEO, and that's what got me the initial meeting, and now I consult with them. So um, it depends how much time you have. If you want to make really highly targeted video emails, but obviously that's not like super scalable, but they often work really well. But the other thing for me has been LinkedIn. But for you, Eleanor, like I really like we can talk about this actually separately because I would love to talk to you, like talk with you about this and help you out with this. But I know based on the fact that you worked for uni, it was Unilad, right? Like you should can leverage that so much more because like I worked at Hootsuite for like a year and I leverage that so much because when people hear that I worked at Hootsuite, it really impresses them because Hootsuite are like one of the biggest social media companies. I know that so many people within our space, especially because I know you do a lot of video stuff, you should definitely leverage that more. I can help you with that, and I actually have a couple of friends that I think I could intro you to who have done similar things, who worked for similar companies. Like I have a really good friend who worked at the Lad Bible and then worked at Social Chain, Steve Bartlett's agency, and now um, runs his own business, and he leverages that a lot too. So let's connect after this because I think targeted video emails would be great. LinkedIn, like automation and outreach, really helps. But I know that you could build a really strong personal brand and leverage the fact that you worked at Unilad. And I know that you're working on that too, because I know we're in some of the same like mentoring groups, but that would be my recommendation for you. Okay, so Jackie says, do you think Facebook ads will continue? I know you talked about Instagram story ads. I feel a lot of younger generation are ignoring Facebook. 100% they will continue. They will only continue to grow just because that's where Facebook makes their money, right? And it's like the best place to get in front of targeted people. Doesn't matter that maybe some younger people aren't using it as much. Like your customers will always be on Facebook. You can always target them. I don't see Facebook ads going anywhere. I actually just see them getting more and more powerful. They'll become more expensive, like 100%. They'll become more expensive, but I don't see them anywhere. But I really would say don't sleep on Instagram ads. Like test them, play around with them, learn them a bit more. So Ron says, what age group spends the most money in your experience? It's such an open question, Ron. Um, I'm not sure how I would answer that. Really, like I'm really not sure. Jackie says, okay, okay, cool. Rawson says, I would love the ability to automate sending ads to WhatsApp groups. Yeah, that's pretty like technical. I've thought about that before. Ron says customers to target. It depends on like what your offering is because I wouldn't always just lead with how much money they make or how much money they spend. Like I would never focus ads on that. I would focus on like solving problems, like targeting the right people, right? So if I have a particular product, I know exactly who the target market is for that. So I would focus on making sure my ads are seen by that target rather than just trying to work out who spends the most money based on age ranges. But like when you run your ads, go into your audience insights and see, like you can check your page's insights and your ad results, and you can see which age groups are responding best, and then you can niche down to those ages. Hopefully that helps, Ron. Sorry, it's fairly vague. It's just that was a tough question for me. Okay, cool. I can see. Okay. So Guruvajit says, just want to know ways you created a personal brand. Okay, so I actually have a case study that explains all of that. And the best way to find that is actually, I'll just get the link for you. Like I have a free case study. It's a 30-minute video that talks all about personal branding, because I could talk to you about personal branding for hours. It's like what I give my keynote talks about. It's what I love to do. But I think it makes more sense just to share this case study with you, because the case study has been watched by like a few thousand people now. And I think that would be probably the easiest way. So Guruvajit put a link in the chat for you. Just click that and it'll take you through to the case study. Does anyone else have any other questions about Facebook ads, about Republic, about anything that I can help you with in general? And also, I would really recommend that if you want to learn more about the agency solution, please book onto a call. Use that link to book onto a call with Valentin. I'll share the link again for you one more time. And he will offer you a special discount on the agency platform. And he will also walk you through it. So Chris says, does Promo Republic actually help design and post social media posts / ad campaigns? Great question. So there's all of the templates in the template library, over 100,000 templates, which you can utilize. But if you didn't want to spend time doing that, Promo Republic does also have another like service offering where they will create content for you. They do it in content bundles. So it's usually 10 pieces of content at a time. So they will create like the template, like specific templates for you or for your clients. And if you want to learn about that, Chris, like it sounds like Chris, actually, there's a few things that Promo Republic could help you with. Of course, I don't want to like push you into anything, but if you want to learn a bit more about that, I would really recommend just booking onto Gord Valentin just for 10-15 minutes, and he can show you those things. So Prashant says, is there a recording of this webinar? Yes, Prashant, there will be. I'm just going to share another link with you in the chat. So that's a link to the Academy section on the Promo Republic website, where all of the webinars are collected, where all of the blog posts are put together, etc. So Natasha says, Facebook ads, until I hit the big time. For a small business / consultant, what is a good ad spend? It's a very good question, Natasha. Okay, so Ron says the bit.ly link did not load. Okay, that's interesting, Ron. Oh, I just clicked it and it worked fine for me, so maybe just try and refresh your page. So Natasha, yeah, good question. It really, I'm going to give you a fairly loose answer here, but it really does depend on your client or on yourself and like what results you're expecting to get. So let's say your product that you're selling is a low cost product and it's only worth, like you're selling something for $5, then of course you don't want to spend a load on ads. It's all relative. So it's really hard to say. I would start small and work my way up. If you have a limited budget or no money to spend, I would definitely start with retargeting ads because they're the cheapest. But in terms of ad budget, like you can just work that out by testing. Like it's kind of hard for me to give like this number. Like if I said $2,000 a month, like it's really hard to work that out. It really depends on like what you're prepared to spend, what the cost of your product is or your solution, and how much you're willing to pay to acquire a new customer as well. Because it's like, for example, if a coaching student, if I charge 2,000 euros for coaching, I don't mind paying 500 euros to acquire that student, right? Or if I run a SaaS company and the lifetime value of a customer is 5,000 euros, I don't mind paying 1,000 euros to acquire them. Like it really is just dependent on a number of different things. So I know that's a fairly open answer, but hopefully that helps. I would recommend if you're really struggling, just start with testing. The great thing with Facebook ads, you can start with like a small budget and still see some results. So just start with a small daily budget and work your way up. Awesome. Okay, cool. Does anyone else have any questions? So Guruvajit says, Dylan, let's connect. Sure. So the best way to connect with me, like I have I'm everywhere on social. right now, like my YouTube channel, I share a load of free content and free value. But if you want to connect with me and ask me some questions, just go onto my Instagram. It's at Dylan DYLAN_hey HEY, and just send me a DM, and I will be happy to help. Okay, cool. So if there aren't any more questions, one last thing, I just want to remind you again that if you want to learn a bit more about the agency solution of Promo Republic, you have some questions, you want to test it out, I would really recommend that you connect with Valentin. He will walk you through everything. He will also give you a special discount, which everyone loves a discount, right? So check that out. And as I said, this is the 10th webinar in the series. There are 9 previous to this that you can go and take a look at. The webinar is at the same time every single week. So if you found this one useful, it would be great if I could see you again on the next one. And I would love to connect with all of you on like my own social channels, on the Promo Republic social channels. Make sure you come and say hello, because I'm here to help and I want to build relationships with you. So thank you for spending the time with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful, and I will speak to you or see you all again very soon. Have a great day. Have a great evening, depending on where you are.